Heyo everybody, Haku here with my review of Tower of God Chapter 289, Season 2, Episode 209. And, I guess I'll start out. Let's go ahead and get the elephant out of the room. Basically, this translation this week, I complained about it in the live reaction. I've seen a ton of other people complaining about it, and it is a bit ridiculous. It was pretty bad, honestly. Because, I'll just go ahead and just cover what I think about it. I think that, almost every, speech bubble, there was some sort of grammar mistake or spelling mistake. And, something that people have been complaining about for months in the comments and everything is the inconsistency with the naming. There are terms and there are names that seem to change in spelling and just what they say for them every other week. If you have some, I don't care if they stick with the company names and terms or if they do their own names and terms, but stick with it. It's I've heard 20 different versions of Huarien by now. And even this week there was a different version that I was is that's how they're spelling Huarien this week? And then even in the same chapter they go from saying 10 families to 10 clans. And they've done similar things before. It's really just a bit frustrating, honestly, because the fix is very, very simple and very, very easy. I feel like it would only take 15 minutes or less for somebody to just read through, be okay, here's a grammar mistake, let me fix that real quick. Here's a spelling mistake, let me fix that real quick. It would take 15 minutes or less to just read through real quick, make sure they were just standardized or consistent with the terms, and make sure there weren't any simple spelling or grammar mistakes. It's just one quick, easy read through is all it would take. Hell, it took me 20 minutes to do my entire read through plus talking about it in the live reaction. So I mean, it doesn't take that long. It wouldn't take that long to fix. I think that's what's a bit frustrating about it. But yeah, that has nothing to do with the actual content of the chapter itself. I just thought that it was important to talk about, since I have seen, there's always some people, pretty much every week, ooh, the translation messed up here, this was kind of bad. But this week it was everybody was this is one of the worst translated chapters ever, especially for the official translation. And I completely agree, there were mistakes, like I said, almost every speech bubble, so it was a bit excessive. But getting into the actual content of the chapter, we see Jinsung, and Jinsung is actually somewhat surprised. He didn't expect to see Baam there. And he's also, I guess I could say he's a bit relieved that Baam is still alive, Joaquin didn't kill him. And he sort of contemplates that. Then we cut and we find out that there are 3 entrances to the place, and so they are splitting their team into 3. And I guess some people just stayed back at the residence or whatever. But they split into 3 teams to go and infiltrate. First team we've got is Baam, Kun, and Red Greymon. And the plan for them is to go and take down Kaiser, while the others are going after possibly the 10 bosses and going after the hostages, most importantly. Second group we see is Huarien, Sachi, Boro, and Novik, who are all looking so badass, and they're entering what looks to be a big, normal, named person entrance. So they're just all going in there. So I really loved, and I loved Kun's suit too. Kun looked friggin' awesome. I freaking loved him. Baam as well looked really cool. I'm loving the outfits they put on for this infiltration. Every single one in all of the teams except for Red Greymon in his goofy disguise had really awesome outfits. So I really enjoyed that. But basically, that team is going in some big crowded entrance, I suppose, with the same goal of helping rescue the hostages and take out 10 bosses in mind. Now the third, and in my opinion the group I'm most interested to see, is a group of Ron, Dan, the pink-haired chick who we've yet to meet, and XiaXia. And their plan is to go through this maze and rescue the hostages. They are going straight after the hostages, trying to get to them. And XiaXia, this chapter, guys, so sexy. Completely sexy. We the rabbitest rabbit boys for life for this XiaXia panel. But it was beautiful. XiaXia and glasses, guys. Trying to get away from that distraction, we do find out that the pink-haired chick has infiltrated the place before, but she wasn't able to save her friend from being sold off at the auction back to his family because he was from one of the 10 families. So we find out about that, and they pretty much jump down into the maze, and we see that it seems like Inuyeta hears them, so we may be getting a showdown between them and Inuyeta coming up pretty soonish, I would feel. And then we go from that to seeing Andrasi ship Hatsu and Lorei infiltrating in some hidden passage, and they all plan to split up. And also they agreed earlier with Kun to sort of help them. All of them except Andrasi said that they're down with the plan of saving the hostages and taking out Kaiser, but they're interested in taking out Kaiser themselves so that Andrasi can get the name and they can try to stop the fight between Baam and Andrasi. So they're more interested in that, but they are in for helping them save the hostages. So it's good to see, because of course they're still friends, they just need names for different reasons. So they're about to split up, and with them splitting up, there are two really important things I'm getting out of this that may show us a little of what might happen in the arc. First, Andrasi says that, like, she thinks that she just feels like somebody's been following her, somebody's been watching her, and we do see Lilial and Chilial watching her. Now, what this could mean, I think, is that what if everybody else, what if they're successful in rescuing Rakdanwa and Yiwa, but Lilial and Chilial end up ambushing and double teaming Andrasi, and even though Andrasi is strong, she can't take both of them at the same time, so she gets captured. So we have the big reveal, we take down the other 10 bosses, we rescue the hostages, and we're about to go after Kaiser at the festival, and Kaiser just shows up in the middle of the festival floor with Andrasi as her new captive because the princess has captured Andrasi. I think that's a really good possibility that'd be super interesting. And another reason why I think this is, I think we see later on one of the 10 bosses getting taken out. But other than that, that would leave us with Inuyeta, Lulu, Variel Vani, and Alphine. I think that Lulu was watching Sachi, so if Sachi and Ryun's team fights Lulu, they could easily defeat Lulu. Like, any of them, I think, could. All 4 of them are pretty damn strong. Then it seems to me like Dan's group is going to run into Inuyeta, but since they're all splitting up, I really feel like Hatsu, and especially since Hatsu specifically said, and this is the other thing that I thought was important with this scene, was that Hatsu specifically said, you know, who could take out Rak, and he was acknowledging Rak's strength, and then he found out it was Arie Inuyeta, and he's like, oh, somebody from the Arie family. So that makes me think that what a lot of people have been thinking, we will get the sword fight between Inuyeta and Hatsu. I feel like Hatsu will jump in and fight Inuyeta 1v1 and get Dan's group to leave. And while I'm not saying he's stronger than Rak, but he might be better off in a sword fight against Inuyeta than Rak is, just because sword fighting is his specialty. Then I think that leaves us for, what do we have? Alphine and Variel Vani. I've said personally, like way since we found out about the other bosses, that whether it's going to be Variel Vani or Alphine, I thought it was going to be Alphine at first. Whether it's either one, I really strongly feel like we're going to get a Dan fight this arc. So I think Dan could very well possibly fight one of those. And hell, I think Lorei could fight the other boss, or even if Ron has to get up, or if we have a pink-haired girl and XiaXia fight, I think pink-haired girl and XiaXia versus Alphine maybe, and then Dan versus Variel. Or, again, Lorei could fight any of them. I think that our teams are set up very well to take out the 10 bosses and actually successfully rescue the hostages. So once we rescue the hostages, which seems to be almost a foregone conclusion, what's like the only big surprise we could even get from there is Kaiser showing up and saying, change of plans, I've got Andrasi, she is now my captive, and Lilial and she may or may not say that Lilial and Chilial are working for her and the ones that actually captured Andrasi. So I think that could be the future of this arc. That could be where this arc goes. because then Baam's going to have to take down Kaiser to actually save Andraste, and then that's going to lead to a lot of long-term struggle because a ton of people, a ton of rankers even, are going to witness a Slayer candidate saving a Princess of Zahard, which could have big repercussions down the road. Now this turned into a almost a theory video. Geez, I'm gonna get off of that for now, but I really think that there was some kind of heavy foreshadowing that may be what happens, since, like, I don't know any other reason that SIU would be specifically showing Lilial and Chilial following and watching Andraste, and specifically splitting that team apart and sending Hatsu and Lorei off in another direction to go towards the other group that's going after the hostages, making them even more likely to be successful in rescuing the hostages. So I think that it's really set up really well for that, so it's completely possible. Now, to finish out the chapter, we also see that Anak and Vespa have been stationed near the residences in case any of the 10 bosses were hiding out there. They could fight them and take their names so that Kaiser would be able to be fought at the festival. Now, in addition to that, at the very end, we have Baam and Kun and Red Greymon finally arriving at the actual place. They run into Yukon, one of the 10 bosses, and there is the coolest confrontation between Baam and Yukon. I love every bit of that confrontation. It's so amazing. Just seeing Baam just angry that his friends have been captured and wanting to do whatever it takes to save his friends. It was so good. I really love what SIU did with this confrontation, and then he freaking one-shots Yukon in his anger. So I could not be happier. Like, it's sad seeing one of the strongest 10 bosses get one-shotted, but it was such a good scene. Like, that scene was completely amazing. So yeah, it was just completely, like, the ending was completely amazing. I really liked the art this chapter, and also I loved the teams. I like seeing your different teams. I love how SIU, Team Baam trolling, gonna put Sachi and Rian on the same team so that the two of them work together. They have two eyes between them. I just thought it was hilarious that they put the two one-eyed people on the same team together. Yeah, so I loved the teams, and one of the biggest things, like, there was a little bit of action, which is good, but it was still mostly build-up. But again, I did kind of think it was probably going to be mostly build-up. But the biggest and most important thing for me this chapter that I thought was really good is we didn't have build-up of them just talking about it, or build-up of just seeing Jensung and whoever else may be on the floating ships, but we actually started the infiltration. Actually getting started with that and kicking off some of the action was really good, and I love that we're already getting into that. So overall, I thought this was a really, really good chapter, but in the end it was still mostly build-up. Like, even the action was sort of build-up action. Like, Yukon getting one shot was just build-up action for what's going to come next and everything, with fighting Kaiser and fighting the other bosses and stuff like that. But either way, getting a bit ahead of myself, off topic, I don't know there. But anyway, I will thank you all so much for watching. Or, no, wait, did I even give my score? Well, I'm giving it 8.5 rabbitest rabbit boys, XiaXia and glasses, oh my god, yes, out of 10. So, yeah, 8.5 out of 10. I don't know how or why I forgot to score that, or if I already did, I don't know. I'm losing it here. Like I said, getting ahead of myself. But anyway, like if you did like this video, comment down there and tell me what you thought of this chapter, what you thought of my thoughts on it. It's a shame the translation was bad, because like I said, the chapter 8.5, it was really good. Subscribe if you want for more Tower of God and a ton more comics, anime, manga, a ton of stuff. And yeah, I guess that's it. So follow on Twitter if you want to as well. I'll keep you updated there. Thank you one last time for watching, and I'll see you all next time.